She called me hysterical at 2 p.m., saying my son had a fever of 103 and she was rushing. By the time I got there, my baby was in a hospital bed with a needle in his arm, and the doctor, ma'am, how long has he been bruising like this? I stared at her. The nanny, Renata, stood in the corner of the room with her arms crossed. Already, he fell off the couch this morning, she said. I told you he was no missed call, no text, just the one at 2 p.m. saying he had a fever, some yellow, some fresh purple, a small burn mark on his ankle that looked days old. She used the word mandatory once, and that was the word that made the room tilt sideways. I pulled up the nanny cam app I'd installed 8 months ago and forgotten about because Renata came because my mother-in-law had vouched for her, because my mother-in-law was the one who found her in the first place. I watched 3 weeks of footage in one sitting. Day 1, Renata feeding him lunch, Jennifer reaching for a toy, Renata grabbing his wrist harder than she needed to. A small win for day 9, him falling asleep on the rug, Renata on the phone in the kitchen, and I heard my mother just keep him quiet when she gets home. She doesn't need to know everything. Renata heating a bottle, my son grabbing at the counter, the pot tipping, his ankle catching the edge. She scooped him up immediately, rocked him, iced it. That part looked like an accident. She picked up her phone and called someone, and I heard my mother-in-law again, don't take it, you know how she gets. I understood then, this wasn't a stranger hurting my son out of cruelty, coaching a woman to hide it. Because admitting it happened meant admitting she'd chosen wrong, meant admitting the arrangement she'd built, cheap trusted childcare, family loyalty, a favor between women who'd known each other for years, had a body count of small bruises nobody wanted. I sent him the clips before I said a word. He watched them standing in our kitchen, his face going the color. She's my mother, he said. Not, I can't believe this. Not, that her. She's my mother. I told him I was calling the pediatrician back in the morning, and that Renata would never be alone with our son again. He asked me to wait, or let him talk to his mother first, hear her side, keep this inside the family before it became a case number. I looked at him and thought about the burn mark, she doesn't need to know everything, about 3 weeks of small warnings I hadn't been trusted enough to hear. I sent the footage to the pediatrician, to CPS, and because some small cold part to my own email, timestamped the same way you'd preserve anything you were afraid someone would try to make disappear. Renata was arrested within the week on a charge of child endangerment. My mother-in-law was never coaching someone to stay quiet isn't a crime. Apparently just a phone call. Just my husband still calls her every Sunday, where he still tells me she made a mistake trusting the wrong person. Not that she orchestrated a cover-up state. We haven't spoken about it in the way it deserves. Some nights I watch that 12-day clip again. And I still can't tell if I'm looking at an accident or the first 10 seconds of something I'll spend the rest of my marriage